there is no better place that rewards their creators with money than YouTube. And in this video, we're going to be sharing some new monetization updates that you need to know, including new requirements to be eligible for monetization here on YouTube. What exactly does 4,000 hours of watch time mean, and what does that include? We're going to be talking about a new way. YouTube's always adding new features that can give you income. And there's a super cool new way to stick around for. And there's some new updates to the mobile app that you need to know about. There's a brand new report on the creator economy that's giving us insight about how much creators are earning, and so much more to come on this video. So if you're fired up to be here today on Think Media, my name is Sean Cannell. Smash the like button. Check out resources in the description, as well as time codes if you're on the replay. And I'm excited because today I am joined by Rob Wilson from vidIQ. Rob, you're back on the channel. How's it going?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me on as always, Sean. Welcome, Think Media audience. And yes, this is somewhat of a small face reveal. I'm getting old. I now need to wear glasses. Does this improve the look or not? Do let me know in the comments.
I think that's an improved look. I think it's that helpful. I'm ready to learn all about monetization. You've got 5 tips for us today. And so let's just dive right into it, and we'll share your slides. And what are we learning?
Sure, absolutely. So the YouTube Partner Program, as it is known to us, monetization to most people. And there have been a lot of requirements that have been in place for a long time now. 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time. But YouTube have now added an extra 2, I guess, requirements that were probably there in the background or are now being introduced to improve security. And you need to make sure that you meet these, and they're relatively simple to follow, but things that you do need to be aware of. So the first one, of course, is 2-step verification. This might be where you put in your password when you're logging into YouTube, and then it asks you to confirm your password through a mobile device or a physical Titan key, for example. Now, the strict rules on this, according to what YouTube are going to do, is that starting November the 1st, so very soon to where we're recording this, maybe 4 days beforehand, monetizing creators must turn on 2-step verification on their Google account. If they don't, I was watching a Creator Insider video yesterday. They said that if you don't, then you may not be able to view, edit, upload videos. So this is really crucial. If you are monetizing your channel, do make sure to turn on 2-step verification. I'm sure you've already received some notifications to do that. If you are going to monetize your content in the future, when you reach these requirements, then you need to turn on 2-step verification. As for community guidelines, well, I think this is pretty straightforward, but YouTube just haven't officially had these requirements in monetization. Now, you must not have any community guideline strikes on your channel at the point of application. If you do have a community guideline strike, it will expire 90 days after the date of the offense. So you will just have to wait for that guideline strike to end. But interestingly, in the wording for this new requirement, it says here, copyright strikes do not impact eligibility, which I thought was really interesting. What it doesn't go on to say is whether or not copyright claims will impact your eligibility. And I've always been of the opinion, but this is just my personal opinion, I don't work for YouTube, so I can't confirm this. I think the more copyright claims you have on your videos, the less likely you may be accepted into the YouTube Partner Program, because effectively your content is already being monetized by the copyright owner. But that's just something to bear in mind. The important thing here is that copyright strikes do not impact your eligibility. So that's point number 1, really, the major requirements that have been coming in for YouTube over the last couple of months.
And Rob, a question from Earth Central. How do you check to see if you have 2-step verification active?
Great question. So with all of these requirements, if you go to the YouTube Studio on the desktop browser, you'll see the monetization screen. If you click there, it will show you your current state, how many subscribers you've got, how many hours of watch time you've got, and then whether or not you have these two things enabled. And I've actually taken the screenshots here from the YouTube studio. So this is what it would look like with the green ticks.
Excellent. What's the next point?
So the next point is an old point, but something that is one of the most popular questions, and it's tweaked often by YouTube, is the question of 4,000 watch hours. What does that actually mean? And I've taken the wording here directly from YouTube to make sure it's 100% accurate. And they talk about 4,000 public watch hours. So that is essentially anything that is on your channel that is currently set to public should count towards your 4,000 hours for YouTube Partner Program requirements. What it doesn't include is private videos, unlisted videos, deleted videos, any videos that you've put ads up against, any video that's watched in the shorts or stories shelf. Now, if a YouTube short is watched in the normal YouTube player, that would count. And then also live streams that are unlisted, deleted, or not converted into video on demand. For example, when Sean and I finish this live stream, it will be converted into video on demand. So watch time would count from there. But if it never gets converted, then it wouldn't count. And we'll touch on that a little bit later. And then finally, another question that people often ask about 4,000 hours of watch time is, what does it mean by the last 12 months? So basically, look at it from this point of view. Whatever today's date is, for example, as we record this, it's October the 27th, go back 365 days and all of the watch time in that period counts. Even if the video was published years and years ago, if it's watched in the last 365 days, then that watch time will count. But I'm sure, Sean, we'll get lots more questions about that in the Q&A section.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's interesting to me. So YouTube Shorts shelf views, like we just had Nolan on the Think Media team had a short go viral. I think, 2.4 million views or more than that. So it got a ton of watch time because even though it's a short amount, it's so many views, but none of that counts.
None of that counts. But there's a very good reason for that, which we'll come on to later.
And then this live stream does not count unless it's converted to video on demand and then watched as a replay.
Yeah, so an example of that, this might be, let's say you are one of these channels that puts on relaxation music, or and you live stream it for, say, 16 hours just because you want something that's really long and it's going to help people fall to sleep, for example. But then once that live stream finishes, because it's a certain length, it may not get converted into a video, and that means that the watch time wouldn't count. So I wanted to tease this later on, but effectively, if your live stream is longer than 12 hours, then YouTube will not be able to, they call it archiving, but essentially means putting it into video on demand. And so that may be relevant to some channels who are doing long live streams.
Awesome. And then a question came in here about, should I unlist private videos that have copyright claims before I apply?
Let me see. So should I unlist privates? I guess because the content already has copyright claims on it. It's probably, I think as long as it's on your channel, regardless of whether or not it has a copyright claim on it, when YouTube reviews your channel, human reviewers are going to take a look at it. So they're probably going to be able to go into the back end and notice whether or not there are copyrighted videos on there. I'm not telling anybody to do anything radical with content that has a copyright claim on it, like delete it. It's just something to be aware of, because sometimes a lot of channels get rejected for the reason of reused content. That's not to say that it's copyrighted content, but it already exists somewhere on YouTube. And so that might be a reason, but I don't want to give you any hard answers because, I'm not a YouTube employee.
Awesome. And so we are going to get into point 3, 4, and 5 here in just a second. But if you're getting value so far, smash the like button. We've got some big announcements in terms of cool new ways to earn money. But today's video is brought to you by vidIQ. Super grateful to be partnering with vidIQ. And if you haven't got your free month of vidIQ Boost yet, vidiq.com/think. Of course, you can use the link in the description down below to get over there. That'll get you 30 days free on vidIQ, and you can use tools like the channel audit tool. One of my favorite things to use when it comes to vidIQ is a quick snapshot to see what content's doing well that I should double down on, what content is underperforming that I should stop making, and what are some quick insights that can inform my next video. We also, the new daily ideas tool is out, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as well later. But Rob, what is the next tip we need to know and update with YouTube monetization?
So as you're watching this live stream right now, what you may be able to do is give this live stream a super chat, which is an awesome way of acknowledging the creator and supporting them in a financial way. However, with video on demand content, there hasn't been a similar solution until now. And if you've been watching any of Think Media's videos recently, you may have noticed, certainly on the desktop and mobile experience, whether the likes and dislikes are and the share button, you may have seen this new feature called Thanks. And this is called YouTube's Super Thanks, where you can donate money to the creator, be it $2, $50. And I like to think of it as a digital tip jar. Now, currently, YouTube is still experimenting with this. It's not freely available to all creators, but I have seen many creators of different shapes and sizes get this feature. And so over to you, Sean, at this point, really. Think Media, I mean, you have it. Are you trying to actively incorporate it into your content right now, or you're just testing to see what happens with it? What's been your experience so far?
Yeah, so this is what it looks like, and you could see this video is playing here, and we've got our likes, dislikes, share, and then the thanks button. And if someone clicks on that, then they could kick over $2, $5, $10, or 50, and then that shows up in the comments. And we are always super grateful. We can reply back. We can put a heart on that comment and say thanks so much for supporting the channel. Rob, you bringing it up is just a good reminder. I know that let us know. In fact, tell us in the comments, have you got the thanks button on your videos yet? I know it's beta. It's kind of rolling out to different channels. We have never done an intentional call to action. We've never educated about it, but we've probably received 10 or 20 thanks, a lot of times $2 here or there, which also just kind of reinforces that point that if you've clearly define the value you're trying to add to the viewer and your videos are adding value, it is that tip jar. I mean, and I know that if you've gotten value out of Think Media, thank you if you've supported the channel that way or with super chat during this live stream. And so I actually think it's going to be a really cool thing that'll be eventually available, I'm sure, to all creators depending on their monetization status. And you just reminded me to start educating about it because people don't know what they don't know. And I know there's a lot of gratitude in people that want to help support the channel.
I have been wondering how creators can use this inventive ways. In the past, we've had creators encouraging their viewers to, oh, if this video gets up to 500 likes, I will shave my hair next video. Now you can almost monetize that and say, look, if I get enough super thanks here to get up to $500, I can afford to do this in my next video. I think there is one caveat here, and I'm a bit not disappointed, but I think YouTube should be a bit more transparent with this, with the super thanks, in that there is quite a significant split, 70-30. So even though, let's say you donate $50, not all $50 goes to the creator. It 30% of that is going to YouTube. So that is something to bear in mind. And I just wish YouTube would be a bit more clear that, yes, a creator is getting some money, but also we're going to take a bit of a cut of it. But they're experimenting with it. Maybe they're going to improve that in the future. So that was the super tip jar. And if you're okay, Sean, I can move on to the next one straight away.
Yeah, before that, I want to just clarify a couple things. You need to be monetized. Crafty Recyclers asking, you need to be monetized to even be eligible for the tip jar, correct?
Correct. Yeah, it is another branch of the YouTube partner program in terms of super chats, memberships. If you go to the monetization screen in a studio and you're monetized, you should maybe see, I think it's under the supers tab. You will see whether or not you're eligible and whether or not you can turn it on.
Yeah, so there is if you may have it in the back end, but you haven't turned on supers. We on Think Media, once we qualified for super chat, our Think Media podcast channel. We were on there for a couple months, and I was like, shoot, all of our coffee with candles, people didn't even have the option to super chat because we just had not turned it on the back end. So that's definitely a huge tip. You want to make sure you go into your back end monetization, see what's there, make sure it's turned on. But the second question from Dan asks, is it expected, or a question asks, when is it going to be rolled out? And we do not know, correct? For everybody.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, this first surfaced, I'd say about 2 years ago. I seem to remember making a video about it at the beginning of 2020 when it was called something different, but I can't remember what it was called. And then it started to become a bit more public 3 or 4 months ago. And I'm just looking at the eligibility, and it still says that Superthanks is in beta and available to a group of monetizing creators. So it doesn't even say anything about how many subscribers you need, what country you need to be in. It's just fingers crossed, maybe you're going to be invited into the program.
And next question from Jason. Thanks so much for the super chat. I know another question came in. To be clear, super chat is what Jason just did. $5. Thank you so much. That is during the live stream. If you're watching this video on the replay, you could actually do a $5 thanks. And so thanks is on a video on demand of a live stream, which would be the replay of this video, or just any video you have uploaded. So this is just a normal upload, and people are able to do a super thanks on this Think Media upload. But Jason asks, Rob, does it matter if my watch time comes mostly from external views compared to YouTube search when I go for monetization in terms of those 4,000 hours?
I would say as long as that watch time is public, it doesn't matter where the traffic source is from, unless it's shorts. That's the one exception. If you get most of your views from external, that still counts.
All right, Rob. Well, let's dive into the next update.
Yeah, so this is just a quickie one, really. I don't know if you remember when YouTube was transitioning from a classic studio to the new studio. Hands up, anybody who can remember the classic studio. I remember taking tons of screenshots in case I want to do like some nostalgic piece for vidIQ sometime down the road about how it used to look. But one of the things that it prevented the YouTube engineering team from doing was really plowing a lot of time into the mobile app. And I don't know about you, Sean, but in the last, I'd say 6 to 12 months, the mobile studio app has changed beyond recognition, and it looks absolutely phenomenal now. And it feels as if it's almost a carbon copy of the desktop experience, to the point now where, as you can see on the little GIF that I'm sort of playing in the background, it's showing you like all of the little cards of your revenue, and you just didn't get that sort of detail in the past. So as along with lots of other analytics, if you are monetized and you haven't been using the YouTube Studio app, the mobile app, then it's definitely something worth checking out.
Yeah, and so here's your action item. If you're on Android or Apple, you want to go to your app store and make sure you've downloaded the YouTube Studio app. So let us know in the comments, has that been an app? Did you even know it existed? Is that an app you're using? It's different than the YouTube app on your phone, and it's for creators, and it gives you analytics. Secondly, though, you might not auto update your apps. I don't. I'd like to manually update my apps. I pick which ones I want to update. If you haven't updated it, your mind is going to be blown by all of the updates. And I definitely agree, Rob. Not only, if I head up top and I go into my analytics, I love looking at real-time views and even the ability to click on the specific video, click on the specific video's analytics, and go into that deeper, swipe over on the revenue of the analytics. And I know this isn't really meant to be a tutorial, but it's, hard to see here. And it's just amazing. And so get your YouTube Studio app and get the YouTube Studio app updated. And now when you're standing in line for coffee, or you're in your car getting gas, or you're in your Tesla charging your battery, you can get really clear insights. The YouTube Studio app was actually kind of weak. It was sort of frustrating because you didn't get that good of data. They overhauled the whole thing, and it looks like they're putting a lot more energy into it, and the updates are rolling out frequently.
Definitely. And who else, confession, when they launch a video, do they spend the next 60 minutes refreshing the dashboard to see what your video is going to be ranked I really need to stop doing that, but I just can't help
Refreshers
myself.
Anonymous. Just the cycle. Like, how's it going? How's it going? Is it all right? Should I pivot the title? What did I do wrong? What's going
What's
on?
that
Is
click
it
through
being
rate?
distributed? Are notifications going out? Am I going to be okay? Like, yeah, no. Every new upload. Why is it? Oh, 9 out of 10. Oh, and then it starts rising or going down. The journey is real. Thanks, Brett, for the super sticker. And let's head to that next tip.
So let's have a little quiz with all of you here. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. I want you to answer as quickly as possible. They come from this new report that YouTube released about the creator economy on YouTube. And it is absolutely fascinating and both stunning as well. So my 2 questions to you are, how much do you think the YouTube creator economy is worth from 2020? So just think about that. Think of a number, let us know what it is. And also, how many full-time jobs do you think YouTube supports in the US alone? So, Sean, I'm going to sort of ask that question to you. What do you think what do you think the answer is before I reveal? Unless you know the answers.
The YouTube creator economy in the US in 1 year, 20 billion. 20 nope. Yeah, $27 billion.
$27 billion. And how many full-time jobs do you think that accounts for?
30,000.
All right. So you were close with one, but way off with the other one. Here are your answers. So it's contributed in 2020, 20.5 billion. Now, I had a little fun with this, and I equated this to GDP, and I tried to put it into a country context. And I think YouTube by itself came 116th in GDP in terms of the value of it. But that is an astonishing number there. Nearly 400,000 full-time jobs it supports in the US alone, and I think it's about 1.5 million jobs in the world at large, which is more employees than Amazon worldwide, which I think is phenomenal. And as you can see, 78% of creative entrepreneurs report that YouTube has had a positive impact on their professional goal. Those are just 3 of the thousands of metrics that this report includes. It not only looks at the US, I know it looks at the UK, Canada. There's PDFs that you can download. It also has stories of how creators have leveraged YouTube to turn it into businesses, much like Sean has done with Think Media. I think for any creator who thinks it's either too late to start a YouTube channel or doesn't understand how they can turn a YouTube channel into a business needs to read this report, because I've been digesting it for weeks at this point.
So to be clear, and you may have to refresh the video. I just updated the YouTube description, and I'm also going to drop it in the comments. And that is a new report on the state of the creator economy. You may have heard of one a while back from Signal Fire. This is brand new, super fresh, done by Oxford Economics. I think it'll inspire a lot of things, as Rob kind of mentioned. It's not too late to start a YouTube channel. This next decade is going to be the best decade on YouTube. The creator economy is maturing. There's a lot of money flowing in. The equivalent of people making this their full-time job is just more of a clear reality than ever before. We're not trying to overhype that it's going to be easy. We're not trying to insinuate that it's not going to take work. You need the right strategies. You got to put in the work. It's definitely, I think it takes sacrifice to start a YouTube channel. And I know so many here in the Think Media community, you're putting in the work. You know what it means to have a full-time job. And then after taking care of the kids, and once the kids go to sleep, work on your YouTube channel, post your videos. But I do want you to be encouraged that this is so real, and this is not our opinion. So check out the YouTube description, and you could just read the report. It's a PDF, and there's a lot of nuances. You might have a family member that's like, is YouTube like a real job? Like, come on, why don't you get serious? And you're like, no, this is a real job. Like, let's talk about the economic, societal, and cultural impact that YouTube is having. Let's look at the data and let's make a game plan for going to the next step with our YouTube game plan. So I'm excited about this, and definitely check out that report. All right, Rob, where are we going next?
Well, here's the insane thing. All of what you see in this report is for 2020. And it doesn't include something that has taken YouTube by storm in the last 12 months. Whether you like it or not, it is here to stay. And that is YouTube Shorts. Oh, yeah. There are some amazing numbers that are coming out about YouTube Shorts. Apparently, I think the latest view count is that there are 15 billion Shorts views every single day, which accounts to trillions of views a year, which I still just cannot get my head around. But here's a really important thing. Everything we've spoken about so far in terms of requirements and super thanks, etc., forget all of that when it comes to YouTube Shorts. It is not part of a YouTube partner program whatsoever. That's the bad news. But the good news is it now has its own new revenue system, and it's called the YouTube Shorts Fund. And it's amazing to think that this time last year, nobody knew what a YouTube short was. And now 12 months later, YouTube has been able to monetize that platform. And this is just the beginning. And the way they want to encourage more creators to make YouTube shorts is to have this $100 million fund that they're going to distribute out to creators over the next year. And as a creator, you could earn either $100 or $10,000. That's the maximum. Now, there is no way to really track this. You know, there isn't a target of millions of views or billions of views to reach these requirements. Essentially, what's going to happen is if you're creating shorts and you do well over the course of a month, YouTube are basically going to contact you. You know, if you're getting a lot of monthly shorts views for the right audience in the right areas, then this is what's going to happen. YouTube's going to send you an email saying that you're eligible for the YouTube Shorts bonus, and we're going to send you X amount of dollars. Claim this bonus, and you'll receive that email between the 8th and the 10th of each month. You've got until the 25th of each month to claim that bonus. But here again is a really intriguing thing about all of this. It's not part of a YouTube partner program. So you don't already have to be monetized on YouTube. If you start a channel today and you get millions of views over the course of November, YouTube could send you an email in December welcoming you to this fund. The only things that you need to do once you receive a bonus is accept terms and conditions and link your YouTube channel to your AdSense account if you're not already monetized, and then you can start earning that revenue. Just to give you a few examples of money that's been earned so far, I've been seeing creators reporting that if they get like 5 million or 7 million shorts views in a month, they're getting a couple of $100. As for Jake Fellman, a 3D animator who gets in the region of 300 to 500 million shorts views a month, he hasn't got $10,000. He's come close to that ceiling, but even he hasn't made it. So I couldn't tell you how much you're going to earn, but the fact that people can earn revenue from these shorts in such a short space of time is incredible. And then going forward, who knows how else YouTube is going to be able to monetize this platform.
Yeah, and our friend Pat Flynn, with his Pokemon card channel, Deep Pocket Monster, I believe, reported that with around 4 million shorts views, he earned around $250.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments. Have you started creating shorts? Do you like YouTube Shorts? Are you planning on creating YouTube Shorts? And one insight that we've kind of learned at Think Media, we've been experimenting with them. We maybe are between 20 and 30 posted, and we actually can now share that there is a lot of opportunity there. A lot of those shorts, if they're on brand for us, which they are, we want them to still just add value, even if you're watching on desktop. They don't seem to bother anybody if you still add value, even though it's vertical. We get those desktop views because that's where our kind of subscriber base is. And we've had videos get a few views on the shorts feed, which is kind of a new traffic source. But just in the last few days, we did have a short breakout, and this can illustrate just the power of what it could look like with one short that could really produce for you. So Nolan created this, and you can see that in the first even 14 days, basically, it just kind of stayed flat. and did decent with about 28,000 views. But then you could start seeing the algorithm started to test it, and then it just shot up. In fact, there was a 1,000,000 view day. In one day, this short was viewed by 1,000,000 people. And then it's also actually continued to grow. And you could see on the right side of the screen here, it says shorts feed 36% of the traffic, and then browse features, that'd be homepage views, I suppose. And people are still clicking on and enjoying the video, but that massive growth in the middle. This revenue right here is from desktop viewers, correct, Rob? This is
correct. Yeah.
and we are waiting, and nothing has happened yet that I know of as far as a notification if we will earn anything from the Shorts Fund for this video, and we still may, or we may not. I don't know if you need more than one short producing the views. This one certainly, this has done 2.8 million views. But what's also kind of cool, because people say, why, what's the point, is this video has generated 7,400 new subscribers. And my friend Chris Do, in fact, if you haven't actually subscribed to our other channel, it's called the Think Media Podcast channel. We go into deeper dive conversations in YouTube strategy. And Chris Do at The Future has been doing a lot of shorts, like 9 a week with one longer video. He said some of his shorts that have broken out have brought new people into the world of his longer content. So that's not the topic of today's video, but that gives you it's pretty powerful. And 7,400 new people discovered Think Media because of one breakout short. Well, we got more information to go into. And if you have a question, throw up 4 question marks before and after your question related to YouTube monetization. But today's video, if you're just joining, is all about new monetization updates, and it's brought to you by vidIQ. And so if you have not got your free month-long plan, 30-day plan of vidIQ Boost, head to vidiq.com/think, and you can sign up for that. The cool thing about vidIQ is it gives you a suite of tools that'll give you an advantage and an edge over other creators. And so right here, once you have vidIQ installed and on your Boost plan, you could get to tools like the channel audit tool. And you can see here at a snapshot, it's a very cool kind of dashboard where I can see how's the channel doing with nice up or down. But what I love is it's content to double down on. What types of content, whether it's views per hour, should we make more of? Okay, maybe some more home office desk accessories type videos, but also what kinds of videos are getting the highest engagement rate? Maybe that's building community more. What about most subscriber gained versus most views? What also are happening amongst our competitors? And I create a list of competitors so I can watch what they're doing, and then I can pull up videos from them, which I might pull an idea out of here. There's Rob. This insane subscriber hack is insane. And wow, we're both making the same face right there. And this is our Think Media Podcast channel, which we also study. So I can look around and say, okay, are we going to be talking about the A7 IV? Should we talk about the M1 MacBook? Should we order one of those up? You know, what are maybe some other videos? So that is really just scratching the surface of how quickly you can start getting insights and video ideas. The new daily ideas tool is incredible, and there's some great videos we have on Think Media training you on that. So anyways, vidiq.com/think if you haven't got that Boost plan yet. And let me know if you're here and you love vidIQ and some of the things that you use it for. Rob, we're talking all about new monetization updates that we need to know. And what's the next one?
Hey, quick congratulations on all of the numbers being in the green there on the channel audit. 79% up in views. It's definitely a Techtober, isn't it, for channels such as yourself, for all of these new things being.
And it was that short, though. That short disproportionately blew up our numbers. But hey, I mean, we're here for it. So
you just got me thinking as well. I just want to mention a really quick super hack because you saw on the channel audit where you had my face doing that. That was from actually a shorts hack that we learned from Jake Fellman, who what he's doing is he's repurposing his shorts as YouTube stories. And I can't quite believe what he's been able to do here, Sean, but his YouTube partner manager told him, yeah, just release some of these shorts that he made 6 months ago as stories if within 15 seconds. And he started doing that. And within 2 weeks, His stories had got him 250 million views and 300,000 subscribers by repurposing his stories, his shorts of stories. Now, I know that's only going to apply to certain creators with 10,000 subscribers, but what an astonishing kind of little backdoor hack that is for subscribers. I can't believe it. Unbelievable.
Well, and Rob, you can't understand the guilt you're making me feel right now, and I'm kind of offended because man, YouTube stories, once you have 10,000 subscribers, it's just one of those things that like has opportunity. You might as well do it. You might as well do 1 to 2 stories a week so you can re-promote a video, or you can even point to another channel, or maybe somebody you want to collab with. You shout them out just to kind of start that relationship because of the tags. Today, YouTube stories is not the topic of today's video, but every time I look at it and I'm in my boxers, my hair's all messed up and I'm on the couch and I'm like, I need to do at least 1 story this week. And every day I look at it, I forget every day. And now I'm personally offended because I feel like you're shaming me. And so, and now I want to redo shorts there though. That's super smart.
Well, you've got that one. You have that one viral camera once. If you can somehow squeeze that into 15 seconds, in a couple of months, just put it on stories and see what happens.
I mean, it's in the queue. I'm doing it now. That's why we're here. I'm here to learn from Rob and be reminded of leveling up my channel, taking things to the next level. Okay, let's talk about the next tip.
Where were we? So there's just a few any other business questions to talk about in terms of monetization. This top one happened actually earlier on in the year. Creators who weren't yet monetized were suddenly realizing that YouTube was putting ads on their videos, and they're saying, hey, what's up with that? And simple as this, it's YouTube's platform. They can do whatever they want. If you want to make content on YouTube's platform, they can monetize those videos, even if you're not in the YouTube Partner Program. But that is good news because it means that YouTube values your content enough to put adverts against it. And once you're monetized, then hopefully YouTube is going to be monetizing all of your content, and then you can share the revenue with them. So don't get too despondent if that's happening. This is the thing that I mentioned earlier in terms of live streams. If they're longer than 12 hours, then YouTube may not be able to archive them. So the hours from those live streams may not count towards monetization requirements. And finally, people are always asking, once I apply for the YouTube Partner Program, how long does it take to get accepted? YouTube's official line on this is typically a month, but we often see that channels get accepted within 48 hours, 72 hours, but it can take as long as a month. And if you are rejected from the YouTube Partner Program, YouTube will give you a vague answer as to why that is. It's often not that helpful, but it means that you can fix your channel over the next 30 days, and then you're then able to reapply. And then one final thing that's kind of about monetization and kind of not is that it used to be that you needed to get to 1,000 subscribers to monetize and get access to the community tab to start doing social posts. But the good news is that requirement is being lowered to 500 subscribers. So that was introduced, I think, at the beginning of October. So do check how many subscribers you've got. Do check whether you're using the community post tool, because it can be a really valuable way of reaching a wide audience when you can't post a video every single day. I guess similar to stories if you have 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah. And I think community tab is one of the most, call it slept on tools that, especially now, you might have 500 subscribers. Now, if you hit 500 subscribers, it does take, they say, about a week. It might take longer, but you should know you're in the queue. Let us know if you see community tab posts here on Think Media. But some of our best practices, we upload a square version of the thumbnail, because or you can actually upload a rectangle, but square is kind of the best format image for the community tab. We ask questions, we promote, we actually have a live class that I'm doing tonight. And so if we do special monetization classes or YouTube web classes, we'll promote those. It's a great place where we engage, we ask questions. We will promote videos. We'll cross promote channels because we have our Think Media podcast channel. And so we premiered a video over there and used Think Media to send traffic over to the other page. And so this is what our community tab is. And one of the things we love, and vidIQ does these really well, they do them a lot, is you could do these cool surveys, and you could get audience feedback. This one's more inspirational, but a lot of times I'll ask, we get different insights about maybe where you are in your journey. So utilize the community tab. I know it seems like a lot, but there's so many tools inside of YouTube now. Not only so many monetization tools here. Eventually get your channel monetized. Super thanks, super chat, super stickers. Plus, you can use community tab, stories, and shorts. And so I know there's a lot going on, but the more that you build up that momentum and that connection with your community here, utilizing all those tools, you can kind of get into a rhythm and a cadence to where you just make your rounds to all these little features and leverage them, because it'll help you grow. Rob, we have a couple questions coming in.
All right.
And anything else that we need to know about monetization, though, right now?
Nothing, strictly speaking, regarding updates, other than to say, as always, when you monetize your channel, I think the dynamic and the relationship between you and YouTube changes, because it now becomes a business relationship. And so you have to realize that there are standards that you must follow in terms of community guidelines, monetization policies. There are a lot. Make sure you read them before you apply for the YouTube Partner Program, because that's when it starts to get serious. But on top of that, I'm sure if you continue to subscribe to Think Media and watch all of their videos, monetization just on YouTube is, I would say, often the icing on the cake. When you can start to put together affiliate deals, selling your own products and services, courses, things that YouTube is used as a funnel to direct those viewers to, then it's an entirely different business game.
Great advice. Thank you, On the Tap Sports, for the super chat. Really appreciate. Congratulations, almost to 10,000 subscribers.
Oh, yeah.
That's the unlock of stories. And awesome
memberships,
to have you.
I think. Is it? Do you get memberships at 10,000 as well?
You would know. It's a lot to keep up with.
They're changing the requirements on that as well, I think. But
because it was 30,000, so they're reducing it to 10.
Yeah, and I think gamers can get it even less, but I think it's 10. I'll check in the background, but I'm pretty sure it's 10,000 at the moment.
Meanwhile, good power tip from Professor Nez. I agree. This is one of our favorite uses of the community tab, which you should have access to if you have 500 subscribers now. And he said, schedule your community tab with older videos to give them a boost with new viewers. Works like a charm. Because if you think about it, how many new subscribers are you getting a month? 10, 50, 100, thousands. New people meet you. And of course, algorithmically, some of your videos might be being suggested to them, some of your past library. But maybe there's some videos, we think about it here at Think Media. This number might shock you, but we get over 20,000 new subscribers a month, or sometimes closer to 30,000. So that's a lot of new people that are meeting me, Omar, Nolan, Heather for the first time. And we have tried to add so much value in our back library. So the community tab is one of the ways to point people to. They have present questions that maybe you've already answered, or content you've created in the past. You could share some of your greatest hits of the past, or maybe you need to share that slept on video that was like, it was so good, but people didn't even really know, and it could reactivate it. So you're sending, it's just a great way to have kind of a current conversation with your community. And maybe you want to re-promote some old videos. Great tip, Professor Nez. And thank you for sharing that. Hey, if you're getting value, smash the like button. And then Rob, what'd you discover?
So, according to YouTube's latest information on memberships, it's now available to channels of 1,000 subscribers. So that is something I didn't even realize in my research. However, I don't think it's just been released to all creators all at once. I still feel as if there's a bit of a rollout going out there, that they're testing it a little bit, and it's only available in certain countries as well. So yeah, maybe the channel that was about to reach 10K, they may already have channel memberships. But that's an entirely different question about when you want to start to open up memberships, and whether it's the right thing, whether you want to do it on YouTube or Patreon. Again, Sean, I'm sure you've done videos on that topic in the past.
And check this out. Lego Danny Bob says, yeah, memberships are available at 1,000. I just got it. So let us know if you go into the back end of your YouTube studio, if you can see channel memberships, if you can switch it on, if it was just immediately an option. You do have to set it up. Like we actually have not started channel memberships here at Think Media. Our preferred, we have our membership community is just off platform. But let us know in the comments if you're there. Awesome super chat. Thank you so much. Almost 10,000 subscribers, and I've quit my 6-figure 9-to-5 job. It's real. My gosh. RJ,
Sweet. Wow.
that's
Well
a
done.
killer story. Super inspiring, I'm sure, to a lot of people here in the community. Not only that at under 10,000 subscribers, that you've got that many subscribers, but you quit a 6-figure job. You're 6-figure 9-to-5 to go all in. And so, man, that's super inspiring. And I want to encourage you, Think Media community. Again, I know that the grind is real and I know that the mountain can seem large and there's a lot of pain and sweat and editing and work. And whoops, I didn't turn on my microphone and I just lost 2 hours of footage and I have to reshoot the whole thing. It is a struggle. And that's one thing that any real YouTube creator knows, that this isn't easy. Like it takes a lot of work. But it's so cool to be here live with you and have you sharing how real this is. And if you are just joining, there's a brand new report on the creator economy. We linked it in the description down below. It's just a PDF. You just click the link, it'll open up, read it, study that. This is real data. And I think it's kind of powerful to be able to make, when you have friends and family members, you got to be practical about this. Of course, you need faith, probably even a little bit of delusion, a little bit of just wild courage to run out there and really go after making YouTube your full-time thing. But it also has a whole data-backed side of practicality. And that's why reading that creator economy report will show you this is the fastest growing small business type. Like this is a real job. There's real step-by-step process to this. And so, RJ, thanks so much for sharing that report or sharing for your results. And really, really grateful for you. Stocking My Pantry says, do you recommend going all in with YouTube or also posting content on your blog? My take on that is it's hard if you're a solo creator to potentially do too many things at once. But I think that's a best practice. If you can write good blog posts, there's a Google SEO relevancy to creating blog posts and embedding your video. There's a blog post I'd recommend you checking out, Stocking My Pantry, or a blogger who also makes YouTube videos. And the channel backlinko.com, right? Brian Dean. And when Brian Dean does like blog posts, he's got images in them. He's got text in them. He adds massive value. He goes on. He's got videos embedded that are not YouTube videos, that are just little playable videos uploaded with like a WordPress player. I assume that's his hosting. And I know this looks like a lot of work, but I would call this, not my term, the skyscraper method. It's making really, really rich content that's going to rank on Google. When you pair that with making a really quality YouTube video and embed that YouTube video as well, you potentially could kind of create a circle of traffic. And so with saying all that, you might've been like, dear God, Sean, I mean, I was just going to like throw the blog post up. That might have some value, but yes, absolutely. If you could combine quality YouTube content with really quality blog posts, the search-based traffic you could get kind of from both could be absolutely incredible. Rob, you guys have a blog over at vidIQ and you have incredible value too. That's, I think, the thing. They're really well written blog posts that educate and there's, they're not kind of thrown together. How often do you guys post?
So we have an in-house blog writer, and I think her name is Lydia, and I think she tries to aim for about 2 or 3 blog posts a week. And we do sometimes have some cross collaboration in that I'll make a video and she'll turn that video into a blog. Or very recently, she made a video about 14 ways to avoid demonetization. I thought that's a damn good blog. I'm going to turn this into a YouTube video. So it's almost like I had the script there for me. So that was really helpful. I guess if I was going to add something to this conversation, it's always a balance between time and money. And maybe if you don't necessarily have the time, but you can afford to outsource this maybe to somebody who can write the blogs for you, I guess that could be an option as well. But yeah, it's much easier for us because we have a team who are others, but we're really working together all of the time in that sense. And yeah, quick shout out to Brian Dean. He makes one YouTube video a year, and it's always the best one. And I always try and steal as many ideas as I can from it for my videos.
No doubt. And Rob, to reinforce what you said, Book of Alpha Renonomy, Dr. Boa, just dropped this $25 super chat. I appreciate that. But he's dropped a lot of wisdom here. And he said this, he said, be careful you don't overestimate your content output capacity.
Yeah.
I've lost hundreds of channel members due to inability to deliver content perks. Learned lesson and shared hashtag full-time creator. Thanks so much for the super chat. And that is a great summary of what we should be, whether you're trying to also write blog posts or also do channel memberships and maintain your YouTube schedule. Notice what Rob said. They have a dedicated team member that's helping them write blog posts. So if you're going to make that a part of your strategy, be really think about the big picture and think about if you have really the time to sustain it. It also could just be using the skyscraper method. It could just be every once in a while, because Brian Dean's strategy, I believe, is not to write as many blog posts as he can, as many YouTube videos as he can, is to create something that's so high value, one video a year, as Rob said, that it just keeps getting viewed. So maybe here and there you go, man, this is a hero concept. This is a hero big idea. This is a skyscraper. This is a big, I want to dominate this topic. So I'm going to make a really rich blog post, maybe even try to rank it on medium.com or something like that. And I'm going to make a really strong YouTube video to connect it all together. Hit like. I've got one really big question about should you have a business license or anything like that when getting monetized that I want to answer. But if you happen to just be joining, catch the replay. It'll be posted here. And let us know in the comments, have you got monetized yet? How many subscribers do you have? What's your watch time clock at? How full is your watch time meter? Let us know. And also check out a bunch of resources in the description down below, including a brand new report that every single creator needs to read on the state of the creator economy, just dropped from Oxford Economics. So Kelsey K asks, is it wise to have a business license from the start or wait until, you apply for monetization? I'm nervous about starting on the wrong foot. So I think it's important to give a disclaimer and say, I'm not a CPA. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. And this is not business advice. This advice is for entertainment purposes only. But Kelsey, probably the business license you would get, and I'm also speaking to the US, would be an LLC, a limited liability company. And actually the purpose of an LLC really is to protect you as far as liability. Some people say there's tax advantages there. There aren't necessarily many, because you can still take tax advantages here in the US as a sole proprietor, which you already are if you just use your social security number as your kind of business number. And you itemize your taxes, which a good bookkeeper could help you with. Meaning, if you didn't know, Think Media Community, you should be writing off your cameras, your software, your computers. If you join one of our programs like Video Ranking Academy, that's education. That's a write-off. If you're buying books, you should write off your vidIQ membership. These are all tools and legitimate write-offs. Check with your CPA or a CPA. But you can write all those off. And when you start to think this way, this is how you want to be thinking, as not just a content creator, but as a content entrepreneur or a YouTube entrepreneur. So I asked once from a CPA friend, where I had a full-time job. I was working at a church, and I asked her, I said, we're making money on the side. We had affiliate money coming in, YouTube money coming in, even some freelance work. And I said, hey, do I need to incorporate? Do I need to start an LLC? And she asked me two questions. She said, do you think you're going to get sued? Do you think that are you doing construction? Is someone going to break their leg on your property? Are you doing something really controversial? And I said, no, I don't think I am facing much legal, ramifications. She said, well, that's to separate, the liability. Furthermore, you're probably not a target unless you're a target. Apple gets sued every day, the company, multiple times a day, because the bigger you get, of course, the more of a target you get. So I don't need protection liability wise. And then secondly, she said, are you earning six figures a year? And I said, no, I'm not earning at this time six figures a year. I was probably earning 10 or 20 or 30K on the side while I had a full-time job. And so she said, in my opinion, Kelsey, kind of a long answer, I think that a mistake new entrepreneurs can make is trying to get focusing on all the wrong things. They try to get a website ready, a business card ready, their business set up. They try to get a plaque on the wall that they're in business. To me, none of that has to do with being in business. To me, getting your first sale, getting approved for monetization, getting some income, getting some cash flowing is the first step. In a way, create a little bit of chaos, create a little bit of momentum first, and then organize it later. Again, this is just my humble opinion, but I think that worrying about I do not think you need a business license, nor does Google. So what's going to happen in the US is you're going to get 1099 income, which is separate from your W-2 income, and it's just going to come to you that way. So from Amazon affiliates, that's how you'll be paid as well. From Google, that's how you'll be paid as well. And that's also why you should reduce your 1099 income to by having write-offs, because maybe you earn 10 or 20 grand from YouTube. You could probably zero that out and not pay taxes on it, because you write off your camera, you write off your education, you write off the plane tickets to go to the conference, growafvideolive.com 2022, Gary Vaynerchuk speaking here in Las Vegas. It's a business trip, and you zero out your 1099 income. My gosh, is this deep? Do you like this kind of content? And if there are any CPAs here, definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments and your advice for that. But Kelsey, I'd say go make some money. Focus on making your next best video. And then once it starts actually coming in on a consistent basis, you could put some organization around it. Not that you were going to do business cards, but it illustrates a point. You don't need a business card. You don't need a photo shoot for branding yet. Maybe you do, but whatever your brand is, like sometimes we focus on every single other thing that we think is entrepreneurship, as opposed to going straight to generating income. What is the shortest path to making money? How do I make the best video possible to get the most watch time possible, to get monetized as soon as possible? And then I'll build a business around that. Rob, what do you think?
I always feel after when somebody says this is for education, this is for entertainment purposes only. At the end of it, I feel as if a GIF should appear where Russell Crowe in Gladiator says, "Are you not entertained?" Just to confirm that it wasn't professional advice. It does raise an interesting point, though, in terms of going back to YouTube and monetization. We talked earlier about once you're monetized, you get into a business relationship with YouTube, and something that's very, very important is honesty. And when you're signing those terms and conditions for YouTube, you actually have to state your country of residence as part of that, because there are tax implications. Depending on whether you're in the US or you're outside of the US, you need to fill out forms in AdSense to make sure that you're taxed the right amount on your ad revenue. So it goes back to the idea of just being honest and truthful in what you say. And then going all the way back to the person who's talking about memberships and the mistake he made, I think the one rule of thumb there is make sure anything you do is scalable. Because imagine if you start a membership thing, and like when people join it for $5, I'll do a custom drawing of you because I'm an art channel. And then you have 500 members who are joining every single month, and you realize that you can't draw 500 pictures every single month. There's always those lessons to be learned in terms of when your relationship changes with your audience, because then they're making a financial commitment to you, and there are certain expectations that if they're not met, then you're kind of breaking down that relationship that before was just easy, fast, free, and friendly.
Man, I hope you're getting value. If you're enjoying content like this, let us know. Drop a super thanks or hit that like button. And I would also say, we do have a program called Inner Circle. I would encourage you. It's not for beginners. It's for once you start getting into things like tax advantages, structuring your online business. We just know that you will get a 10x 20x, 100x return on your investment in our monthly coaching program, because you can save money on things like taxes and make sure things are set up right. So Monica, correct. Speaking from the US, you don't need an LLC to write things off. You can itemize your deductions um, as a sole proprietor, which you can be instantly with just your social security number. The moment you start a business is not when you start an entity. The moment you start a business is the moment you get money. A business starts when a sale is made. When your 7-year-old is selling lemonade, the moment that they get handed that $5 bill, they're in business. The IRS probably won't hear about that. And that's between you and them. I mean, obviously, but but technically the moment there's an exchange of funds, and that's also what would be called like 1099 income versus W-2 income. And so without getting too deep into all of that stuff, if you want to learn more about Inner Circle, we'll link that up in the description down below. And in that program, Monica and others, there's also opportunities, and please go research this info for yourself. If you're earning $40,000 a year in your online business as an entrepreneur, you should start an S corp, and you could start saving when you set things up right with a good CPA. You could probably save as much as $5,000 kept in your pocket by having an S corp and avoiding some self-employment taxes. That's the kind of thinking. Come on, think that we want to help you think different here at Think Media. So, I mean, we're here to help you win in the creator economy, to help you build a real business that's also not based on trends and some viral hit, but that's based on you really adding value, building your personal brand, being super clear on who you help, being super clear on what problem you solve, and being full-time doing what you love while making a difference with YouTube. So if you're not subscribed yet, definitely subscribe. Check out show notes and links in the description down below. Smash like if you got video today. Smash like if you got value today. And if you want to check out another video, click or tap the screen. You got to learn about vidIQ's Daily Ideas tool. This thing is amazing. Click or tap the screen to go watch that video. You're going to love it. Thank you, Rob, for coming on the show today. And we'll see you, Think Media, in the next video.